Hello, Spanish 2 students. Welcome back. This is week 4, lecture 2 for episodio 10. And here are our objectives. We're going to be practicing a lot of the first one, the second one, and third one. And I'm going to kind of guide you through it very slowly, but it should be pretty doable at the end of this lecture. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to make invitations, and I want you to go ahead and look at these sentences. You can pause the video, write down all the verbs that you see for each number here. There should be 1, sometimes 2 for each of these, so go ahead and find those. You can pause the video and then you can check back in when you're done. Alright, so I just went ahead and underlined these for us, so here they are. You can also see that I color-coded them. And I want you to go ahead and look at the blue verbs, the orange verbs, the yellow verb, and see if you can figure out a pattern. Go ahead and maybe jot some notes down that maybe a couple of things that you notice. You can pause the video, take a look at this, and then you can unpause when you are done. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. Alright, so here is something you should have noticed. All the blue verbs are querer, and it's conjugated to the different subjects of the sentences. You can see the orange verbs are infinitive verbs. These are verbs that are not conjugated. And then we also have the one yellow verb, and this is called a reflexive verb. It is not conjugated. But it does have a different ending, and reflexive verbs, we will talk about those in the upcoming weeks. I don't want to get started on that because I'm afraid I might confuse you. And what is a pattern? So the pattern here that you should have noticed, it's probably a conjugated verb with an infinitive. And together these are going to create meaning. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so here's another example of how I'm using a conjugated verb and an infinitive to kind of like expand my vocabulary. Poder is the verb to be able to. So here are some things that I can do. Yo puedo usar la computadora. Yo puedo hablar español e inglés. Yo puedo contestar el teléfono. Y yo puedo cocinar comida mexicana. So again, I have my conjugated verb. The first verb is always conjugated. The second verb is an infinitive. Here are some things I am not able to do. Yo no puedo servir comida. And I'm talking about if you work in a restaurant and you have to hold a tray. Yo no puedo tomar siestas. That's impossible. I simply cannot do it because I will not sleep at night. And here's another one. Yo no puedo sobrevivir sin café. That means I can survive without coffee. So when you're using the verb to want to, or to be able to, or can, make sure that you have a conjugated verb and an infinitive verb, always. Okay, so I created this sheet for you guys, and you can download this on Blackboard. It looks like this, and this is just kind of facilitate you going through how to make invitations, how to ask for details, how to reject them, and how to accept them. So here's some practice, and this is all in that sheet that I put up. So we're going to use quieres because we're conjugated to do you, puedes, and te gustaría. This is another one we use. This is going to be not in the present tense, but you will hear that a lot in Spanish. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Just remember that phrase, would you like to? So here's an example. ¿Quieres ir de pesca conmigo? Notice the infinitive is yellow. ¿Puedes ir a acampar conmigo? And ¿te gustaría jugar al voleibol conmigo? So you can go ahead and look at the sheet and decide, yes, I want to, no, I don't want to, and why or why not. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Here's some things that these are some invitations that I want you to accept. So do your best to just say yes and ask for details. ¿Puedes correr en el parque conmigo esta tarde? ¿Quieres ir a comer sushi al mercado de Mitsuwa? ¿Te gustaría trabajar más horas esta semana? So notice again that we have the conjugated verbs and the infinitives here, and then the little extra details, okay? So go ahead and look at some of the expressions that you can use, like vale or órale, and then, ask me for details to confirm. You can pause the video. Alright, so here's another example. These are invitations you should reject. ¿Te gustaría ir a bailar a la discoteca este sábado? ¿Quieres ir de compras a Salvation Army conmigo? ¿Puedes ir a tomar una copa con nosotros después de la cena? And I'm talking about a glass of wine. You can see my little emoji there. So go ahead and look at the expressions on the sheet and maybe say, oh, qué pena, I can't do it, what a shame, and tell me why. Okay? Again, you can pause the video and, take your time, pace yourself. Okay, so this is the end of lecture 2. And this is something you should really try to practice. So go ahead and make up your own types of invitation. And if you have time this week, and I hope that you guys are making this time, talk to your peer person that is practicing Spanish with you, or talk to the ASC peer tutor and just practice making invitations. So just write down 2 and then decline 1 and accept 1. Make sure you add details like what time, when, where, blah, blah, blah. Are you taking the bus, or do we want to walk together? Remember to just add details, please, because that will make your dialogue a lot better, and you can kind of show me your range of vocabulary that you have, which is really important for Spanish too. And then you can use the sheet that I posted, and just go ahead and create a dialogue. And you can always use this to practice with your peer, or you can just do it by yourself. And that's it. This is the end of lecture 2. And before we leave, I want to show you the sheet. So here's the simple questions. You can create your own invitations. These are just some basic questions for extra information, but I left some space here so you can add more. So what time, where, I'm missing a little accent mark there. And then we have expressions. So these are just some expressions that people will use in Spanish. And then go ahead and tell me, yes, I want to, or I can this time. And then things to reject or decline invitations. So here's some expressions that we would use. And, some sentences. And you can just go ahead and use this for the lecture invitations and rejections, or you can just use it for whenever you create your own dialogue. And that's it. Thank you for watching.